that hip. Car Chronicles, another live podcast episode. Um, I was just coming up with a theory, and I realized after doing researching this Kawhi Leonard situation and the possibility of him getting his contract um, voided by the NBA. I don't know. It's maybe about a 50-50 chance, but I don't think the NBA is going to do it. But what if Kawhi Leonard contract don't get voided and he gets traded to the Golden State Warriors? And here's how that could work out. Let's just say Clippers loses the investigation, and then now they trying to figure out how to, get rid of Kawhi now because the contract might be voided. And let's just say Adam Silver say, all right, y'all lost the investigation, and then and y'all either can trade Kawhi or you can release him. So what if the Clippers traded Kawhi to the Warriors for Jonathan Kuminga and maybe another player? The money might be off by a few $1,000,000, but it could work. Like, you could pair Jimmy Butler with Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry and Draymond. So imagine that happened. That will break the league. The Warriors will be back in contention to be champions again. So your starting lineup, if that would have happened, would be Steph at the 1, Jimmy at the 2, Kawhi at the 3, Draymond at the 4. And whoever's the center, I don't know who the Warriors always have random people at the center spot at the 5. So if that would happen, Jonathan Kuminga and maybe another player, because I know the Warriors not going to trade Draymond. Only way the Warriors would trade Draymond if it's LeBron James. That's the only time I think the Warriors would trade Draymond, if it's LeBron James. But if that happened, you gotta think about it. That put the Warriors in the driver's seat. That puts them in the driver's seat. Where now the Warriors can actually have a championship run. So here's my whole projection of that trade. The trade will be pretty much, let's just say, Kawhi Leonard for Jonathan Kuminga, and let's just say Gary Payton Jr. and another player. They go to the Clippers. Or you could do Kawhi and Jimmy Butler straight up. But knowing the Warriors, I think Jonathan Kuminga will be the person that will get rid of for Kawhi. And Kawhi, and that trade will work out, because here's the reason why. Kawhi going to the Warriors will put him in championship contention. Jonathan Kuminga going to the Clippers will give the Clippers a fresh start on a new star. And I do believe Jonathan Kuminga is a future All-Star. Not a future Hall of Famer, but I could see Jonathan Kuminga being a B-level All-Star. I mean, where in his career he might make 3 or 4 All-Star teams. He might have 1 year averaging 25, 30 points a game. He might be one of those type of All-Stars, those mid-tier B-level All-Stars. He's not going to be one of those A-tier All-Stars where he make 9 or 10 All-Star teams, be all NBA 9 years in a row, shit like that. But I could see him being one of those B-level All-Star players. Those, you got 4 or 5 All-Star teams under your belt, maybe 3 All-NBA teams, in your credentials, I could see Jonathan Kuminga being in that category. So, so Jonathan Kuminga going to the Clippers will be a great start for him. So if the Warriors and the Clippers, two teams that's going through issues, I think they need to do that trade. Trade Jonathan Kuminga to the Clippers for Kawhi Leonard. Since the Clippers already reported that they're tired of Kawhi shit and they're ready for Kawhi to leave. They really is like ready for him to get up out of LA. But also there's been reported that Kawhi don't want to leave LA. So even if his contract get voided or if he get released by the Clippers, he wants to stay in LA or in California. So I don't see Kawhi going to the Lakers. I'm sorry. Here's the reason why. Kawhi, him and Luka, they'll mesh on the court, but the personalities of Kawhi and Luka totally different. I know people might say, "Oh, Kawhi is quiet. He's super humble." Kawhi being exposed show you how much of a jerk he is behind closed doors. He keeps everything quiet, but he let Uncle Dennis talk for him. Uncle Dennis do all Kawhi's business. So Kawhi has just as much bravado as any other player like LeBron James. Even like any player that, the difference between Kawhi and all these other superstars, Kawhi stay quiet. Where other superstars, they're going to make their demands loud and clear. But I can see if Kawhi went to the Lakers would not fully commit to Kawhi because Luka is the younger star and he's better. Kawhi's in his 30s, Luka's in his 20s. So it makes more sense for Kawhi to go to a team like the Warriors because the Warriors have an older team. And it works well. And then plus, Kawhi and Jimmy, yeah, they're pretty much somewhat of the same player. But the difference is Kawhi is a better three-point shooter than Jimmy Butler. And now when it comes to defense, I think Kawhi is a way better defender than Jimmy. But also, but Jimmy's a great defender, but he's maybe a niche below Kawhi in defense. So I can see that happening. But it's up to the Warriors to figure out, being like, all right, we're going to have to, come to the realization that, we need to build this franchise. We need to make sure we get the right pieces to win. So that's what I think the Warriors need to do. They need to look at this situation with Jonathan Kuminga, and they got a trade asset right sitting there. And I think that would be good for the league. That'll make the Warriors the villain again. And then also the Warriors will be like, how they run their offense is kind of like the Spurs back in 2014. So now, and Kawhi will fit perfectly with the Warriors because Steve Kerr, he runs pretty much the same system that Greg Popovich run. That pace and space. But also Steve Kerr also runs, okay, let me explain it. Steve Kerr's system is a mixture of Popovich with Mike D'Antoni. He has some of his, like if you watch the Warriors, some of their stuff they run is kind of like that 7 seconds or less. Some of the elements from that 7 seconds or less offense, and then they run some of that pace and space offense that Popovich will always run. So if you put Kawhi in that, Kawhi will fit perfectly because he's familiar with that system. And then the other stuff, he can figure that out on his own. So that's why I think Kawhi going to the Warriors will be perfect for him. He'll fit the scheme. He can play defense. And also, when you put Kawhi and Jimmy on the same team, two dogs that can play defense, the Warriors going to be the number one defensive team in the league. And also that frees up Steph Curry to be the Steph Curry of old. Well, where he could average 30 a game, shoot 50% from 3-point range, and shoot almost damn near 55, 60% from 2-point range. So it will free up Steph, and Steph can be Steph again, where now on the defensive side, you can hide Steph in the schemes. The reason why Steph was so successful in the first run in the Warriors championship run, because the Warriors were smart to have multiple defenders surrounding Steph. Well, yeah, Klay Thompson was a decent defender. Andre Iguodala was a decent defender. Draymond was a great defender. Then you had like other players like Gary Payton was a good defender. So you have good defenders surrounding Steph, where when you play, so when Steph is playing against another guard that is just as talented as him, like Kyrie, you can hide Steph on a defensive scheme. And then also you can kind of let Steph just do what he want to do, play the passing lanes, where if somebody throw a bad pass in the pass lane, Steph can intercept it, run the ball, stop at the dime at the 3-point line, shoot that three, where he always do sometimes when they on fast breaks. So that's the reason why I think it would make sense for that. The Clippers is having issues. The Warriors is having issues. Do a sign and trade. Sign Kuminga to a $35 million deal. Trade him to the Warriors. I'm not the Warriors. Trade him to the Clippers for Kawhi, and that's it. That will make things better for both teams. That's the solution. That's I think that would be the best solution ever. But anyway, but it is what it is. But yeah. All right. Well, tell me what you think about this whole situation with Kawhi Leonard, and do you think the NBA is going to void his contract, or do you think the NBA is just going to pretty much turn a blind eye and let him walk away and slap him on the wrist? This your boy, Miss TV. I'm out.